Hello everyone and welcome to my 5-year Flosstube anniversary celebration review video thing. Welcome to Coco Creates. This is my Flosstube channel. I'm Zoe and this is Coco, and I think this one's going to be quite a long one because I've already filmed part of it and that was already like almost an hour and that was only part of the video. Hello everyone, me again. Maybe not again, because I think I'm going to put this in at the start. Anyway, it's not the point. So basically this is just a massive apology for how late this video is. I don't want to say it's not my fault, because it's kind of not, but like also it's not really anyone else's fault either. So, but I had originally planned to post this last week. So I had it all edited together and filmed, but it takes a long time to upload and I didn't have time to leave my phone completely unattended for sort of the 4 or 5 hours that it actually takes before going on holiday. So I thought, oh, that's fine. Well, I'll just go on holiday and then I can just set it to record while I'm there because, you know, I'll have Wi-Fi, it'll be fine. So, but on another note, this week I found out what restricted internet is, because it turns out the place we were staying, the whole site has a restricted internet or Wi-Fi, and I couldn't get any 4G there, so I had to use their Wi-Fi. But it basically meant that there was a lot of things I couldn't do on the internet. Things that I could do, you know, I could search things online, I could do my Wordle and my connections, I could view videos on YouTube, I couldn't view comments, I couldn't leave comments, I couldn't comment on Instagram, I couldn't send sort of direct messages to some people on Instagram or Facebook, things like that. I couldn't do a FaceTime call, and also I couldn't upload a video to YouTube. I couldn't even upload a short. I tried a short thinking, well, maybe this is just too long a video, so I'll just try uploading a short that says, sorry, I can't post, and it wouldn't even let me do that. It just kept saying pending pending approval or something, and I was like, well, this is my YouTube channel. Like, I approve it. Like, I don't understand. But yeah. So anyway, so that was like a 3-minute explanation for why this video is now a week late. Everything's still the same on there. The only thing is, I think there's now for my giveaways. I think I had said that there'll be about 6. You'd have about 6 or 7 weeks. Now you've only got about 5 or 6 weeks, which is fine. So the giveaway still will run till the end of June. Still, I mean, what are we on now? Will my phone tell me? The 18th of May. So yeah, that's still 2 weeks of May. Actually, so it's probably still about 6 weeks left. I obviously couldn't count the first time I did, you know, I said that. But anyway, so here you go. I'll let you go. I'm gonna put this on to upload now. It should upload overnight and be ready to go in the morning, and I will see you all soon. So I love you lots. Hope you've got a good drink and some stitching to be doing. But yes, so I was to see if Coco will behave this time. She's had a bit of a mad 5 minutes this morning, sort of running around, but hopefully she'll settle down now. I'll be nice and quiet while I do this. So welcome to my 5-year anniversary. Quite scary. I didn't think I'd still be, you know, when I started doing Flosstubes, I didn't know if I would sort of continue doing them. I didn't know if anyone was going to watch them. Didn't know if I'd get past sort of my first couple and then I might have chickened out and stopped. But no, I've carried on, and I'm still here. I did go back and watch my first couple of videos because as part of this video, I'm doing a mini WIP parade. I do say mini WIP parade because it didn't have all of my WIPs in, but it did seem to be longer than my actual WIP parade I did at the start of the year that did have all my WIPs in. So I'm not too sure how that worked. It might be that when I come to edit it, there's quite a lot of gaps that I can like crop out and it'll be a bit shorter, but you know, fingers crossed. But yes, so basically I went back to my first video, well, it was actually I think my second video that I did a WIP parade, because I wanted to see which WIPs I still had now that I obviously had 5 years ago, and which ones were still going on, if I'd finished any, if I'd, you know, managed to finish any, and how many I sort of still had that were WIPs that I want to, you know, be looking at getting finished, because it's been 5 years and I would rather not have them still WIPs at my 10-year Flosstube anniversary, because I think 10 years might be a bit pushing it. There is a couple, like these, my big Hades that are in here, so my big one that I know I'd already planned for that one to take me at least 20 years, so like I'm allowed to still have that one at my 10-year anniversary. But some of the small ones, like I want to get them finished because I want to be able to start other things, and I can't just keep starting things if I don't finish anything, because then they all just stand there and stare at me and kind of stay hidden in their sort of like the bags that I keep them in, you know, the WIP pouches and the WIP bags, and then I don't see them. So I want them finished so that I can have them out, and actually have a chance to do something with them. So yeah, so we've got a mini WIP parade coming on, and like I said, that was why I had to go back and watch my first video so that I could see take some screenshots from like where I was back then. And yeah, it was, I wouldn't recommend anyone else go back and watch my first video. I would say it's one that was very good. I did notice that I didn't smile, I don't think at all, in my first couple of videos, and watching them and looking back at the dates, I do know why, but I didn't notice it at the time, and it was because I had wisdom tooth infection that had come down into this bone, so I was really struggling with like talking and moving my face, so yeah, I'm thinking that's probably why I didn't smile throughout the whole thing. But yes, it looks very off-putting, just having me like with a proper like deadpan face, just not even the hint of a smile throughout my first video. So I'm actually surprised anybody at all watched that, just coming on to see me with like this like grumpy ass face, just like staring at everybody. But you know, you did watch, so I don't know obviously how many of you watching now that had watched that video, but I know some people did watch that video, and I got some lovely comments and I kept making videos, and then I made another one, and yeah, thanks to all you guys for always leaving me really nice comments. And I know I'm not always brilliant at going back and commenting. I do try and like heart all the comments that I've seen, just so that you know that I've seen them, but yes, but I do love reading your comments, and I don't know, it's just nice. I think it makes it a bit more real seeing some comments, because sometimes you see on the screen that so many minutes have been watched or whatever, and you're like, okay, but actually yeah, having people interact, you're like, oh, actually people do listen to what I'm saying, sort of thing, which is just really nice. Sometimes I think when I'm saying things in my video, I'm like, do people really care? Like, do people need to know this? Am I saying too much, too little, you know? But yes, but obviously you do watch, so which is I'm very grateful for. Thank you. But yes, Coco's settled down a bit now. I don't know if you can see her. There we go. You gonna look? No, you're gonna look at me, aren't you? Because I just made the noise. But yeah, so she's being a very good girl right now. But I hope you've all got some tea. So, well, I've got tea. You don't have to have tea. I hope you've all got a drink. But yeah, so I think first what we're going to do is I'm going to hand back to sort of the other day Zoe, and we're going to go through my WIP parade, so you can see that, and then we're going to come back and I've got some giveaways to do, and then a little bit on sort of my plans for the next 5 years, and that will probably be a long enough video, so we'll probably stop there. But yes, so I will hand over to past Zoe and the WIP Parade, and hopefully it won't be too long. Hopefully you'll all still be here by the time it's finished, and I can welcome you all back in a moment. Well, a moment for me, an hour for you maybe. Hello and welcome to the kind of WIP Parade section of my video. So I don't know if I already mentioned, but I'm not feeling that great. I've started some new medication, so I'm going to be doing this in sections. So here is the sort of WIP Parade section. What I did is I went back and watched my first couple of videos, my first WIP Parade, and I took screenshots of the whips from that video because I don't actually have the original photos of where my whips were then, but I'm going to pop up those original photos and we're going to see how much progress I've made in 5 years, or obviously if I've you know, finished them, or if they're still whips, things like that. There is a couple more on the grab, so I'm just going to do that now before I forget. Okay, now I think I've got everything. I'm just going to go in the order that they appear in this bag, because I forgot to actually write down the order that they appeared in on my video. I just took screenshots and they're obviously on the phone that I'm now recording on, so I can't even follow those screenshots to like remember where we are. But you know, we'll see how we get. I have got my original diary with my original whip list in here, so hopefully obviously everything down here is also on here, or we can kind of work out, you know, the designers and the start dates and things. Obviously it's a test to see how good my sort of diary writing, like recording, was back in the day. But we'll see as we go along. So, oh, Coco's coming. So did you think we'd missed you out? Oh, my apologies. Is it because I didn't pick you up to show you off at the start? Come on then. Right, you gonna help? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Right. So here's Coco. So coming to say hello. She remembered she's supposed to be involved in my videos. So there we go. So you get a bonus kitty look. Right. There we go. Are you gonna? No, don't get in the bag. Go on, off your tunnel. First one's first. This is a portrait of Veronica. This is my Mirabilia. So here's how it will look when it's finished. And let's have a look. Obviously this list was in no particular order, so there we go. There we go. Well, I started this one during I think my first 24 hours of cross-stitch marathon I had. So that was on the 5th of April 2019 was when I started this one originally. So I'll pop in a photo of where it was at my first WIP Parade. So this would have been sort of May 2020. And here is where it is now. So, oh, lots of parked threads, as you can see. But yes, so still not done. I think I had set a goal that I wanted it, you know, at least half finished, with the top half being the smaller half, because I think all I've got up here is her face and is it her other arm? Yeah, her other arm, which sort of comes out of her sleeve here. But this entire bottom piece is all dress, and I believe I did start in the middle of the fabric, so yeah, there's a lot of dress to go on there still. But yes, so I am stitching the skin over one. Let's try and shrink this up a little bit so it's easier to hold. Haha. That might work a bit better. There we go. So I'm stitching the skin over one, which I've converted I don't know what to call it, you know, like instead of it being like sort of like steps all the way down, I convert it so that I still get like a diagonal line where the shading meets. So I will be redoing a video, because I did have a video. I will redo a video on how I convert, because I know I've been asked that before. But yes, so just that piece there down to like there. So there's all of that still to do, all that bottom. So still a lot going. Must admit, this is still my favourite of the Mirabilias. So I do still like the colours. So this uses the 3808 sort of teals in these sort of darker bits here, which are my favourites. And this is my sort of Marie Curie piece, so to honour her, who is the first lady and only person ever to have 2 Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences. Still to this day she holds that title of being the first and only person. She has both in chemistry and physics. She did that for her discoveries and work with radiation, which then led on to radiotherapy, radiation treatment, chemotherapy, all of those things. But yes, there's that one. So in terms of like planning for like the next 5 years and what ones I want finished, I think I would like to have that one done. Obviously this year I'm sort of focusing on like my greenhouse and making sure I get progress on my baby dragons and other ones. But I think sort of going forward into next year, I think I'm going to have to start picking out, you know, one sort of WIP to focus on, sort of, as well as, so obviously I have my full coverages that I spend a lot of time on, but then the rest of that I think, right, well, I'm going to focus on a specific WIP and then do a little bit more of my Wypopoly in the like the rest of the time. So I think that's definitely a candidate to start pulling out and get some work cracking, because it's not that confetti heavy. Like most of the dress is in sort of panels, so it's kind of quite blocky stitching. It's just there's a lot of that stitching to do, so it's making time to actually sit and do that, which I need to do. But I would like that one finished sort of by my next, you know, by my 10 years, I would like that one done and ready to show off. Next, this is Maps and Mythology, which is out of the Ultimate Cross Stitch Travels book. This is volume 16, released in 2018, and that's what the cover looks like. And this is the design I'm doing. So this is a Maria Diaz chart, and here's what it looks like. So I do quite like sort of the cartography designs, the maps and things. I have sort of a couple on the go, but I also have a couple like that I want to start. I can't start them until I've actually finished them. I'm trying to keep my themes not what's the word? But you know, if I want to start another map project, I have to finish a map project. If I want to start another fancy lady, I kind of need to finish a fancy lady, that sort of thing, so that I'm not getting sort of too many of the same category on the go at the same time, you know, without actually finishing anything. Here's where that one started, or that one was, sorry, 5 years ago. And have I got it on this list? Oh, this was also started during the 24 hours of cross stitch. And here is where I am now. Still working around, so I've done sort of Europe, I've done Africa, and I'm just coming around Asia here. I think I still have, you know, the top half to do, and then the Americas over here. And that would be the actual map part, and then I've got, you know, the actual, you know, the bulk of the stitching, which is probably these guys out here. This one, oh sorry, so I've got to mention my Mirabilia. That's that was completely kitted up for me by Hawkins Hobbies. So it's the kit fabric, the kit beads, the kit threads, all as requested. So I think it's 32 count, 32 counts of it, but it's whatever the witch elk fabric was that was called for on the packaging is what I did. This one is also a 32 count. This is just an offcut of linen. Is it linen? Yes, yeah. And I'm doing this over 1 over 1 full cross, like that. But yeah, so it's a bit sort of time consuming. It's a bit fiddly being small stitches. I think this was my first project, my first sort of small stitching project. But yes, to be fair, I mean, most of it, you know, if you look, the majority of this design, like all of this just has the word the Americas written. This is all blank. All the inside's blank. There's like a few lines and the sea name blank. Like, you know, the majority of this stitching is not stitching at all. It's empty space. You would think this would go a lot faster than it has done. Alas, not yet. But yes, I also seem to have a dirty mark on it. Maybe I've spilled some tea on it at some point. I mean, at least that would be in keeping with like an old map style, you know, tea stains. Maybe. It might wash out, it might not. I mean, I only saw it then as I looked close up. It's sort of just in this sort of top bit here. I don't even think you can tell much on the camera, so I'm not bothered about that. But yeah, at risk of just going through every single WIP and saying I want this one done by, you know, in the next 5 years, I would like this one done in the next 5 years, just because it's so small and there seems to be so little actually to do on it. But yeah, this is just using the regular DMC as called for in the magazine. You know, I'm not going to lean those on my tripod because the more I get, that's definitely going to push the tripod over at some point. Next project. This is my Kingdom of Books. I got this from a company called Make Your Own Hands. I think I just got it from sort of eBay or somewhere like that. Again, it's quite, but I know quite a few people are doing this. I know the Handwork Maniac, she is doing this piece as well. And I know there's at least 2 other people that I've seen doing it, but I can't remember. I can't remember who they are. But no, this is the design. Sorry for the shining there. I'm doing this on the kit. It came as a kit, so I'm doing it on all the kit fabric as called for. Sometimes I do regret not swapping it out for a like a hand-dyed piece. So because this is full coverage, I could have swapped it out for kind of a mottled beige and then not had to do the top, but I did not do that. I just started it as instructed. So here is a picture of where it was 5 years ago. And come on, this should be on this list. This list is not written in a particular order, which is unhelpful. It was obviously just written in the order of, you know, where I pulled it out. Here we go. So this was started on the 31st of May 2019. So yeah, so it's 14 count Ada. This one got a stain as well. I can't tell if it's got a stain or if it's like, you know, when it's quite bright. I've got the sunlight coming through the blinds, and you know, sometimes then you get like the sort of light rays of where the sun was. You know what I mean? You know, you've looked at a bright light and then you close your eyes and you can still see that bright light. I can't tell if that's what I'm seeing on the back of this fabric or not. So, but anyway, here is where I am now. So it's a big old piece of fabric. Like it's 14 count, so it's a canny size. I'm doing this with 3 strands over 1. Let's try and hold that. No, I didn't bring my I didn't pick up my what's it? But it is right here, so maybe that would help. There we go, my board. This is my focus. So I believe I just sort of finished this middle piece last time. So I've added in, I finished this book and just started the green book here. This piece, this sort of building or book is symmetrical on the other side, and it has a little clock face. So when I come to back stitching, because they do all have titles, Handwork Maniac did have a, she did manage to get the English translation for all the titles, and I'm going to be stitching the English words. I've just noticed I've actually got some stitches missing just in this. You can sort of see the white gap in here. That is missing. Okay. not the point. The point was letters. So yes, she's got the English translation, so I'm going to be using the English. Need to rechart that at some point. But also when I backstitch in the time, I'm going to use the clock faces to do the date that I finish. Yeah, this one's not going to be finished in the next 5 years. I can guarantee that one. That's a big project. This one I might sort of start focusing on more when I finish my baby dragons piece. This might then come out as a sort of more of a focus then. Because to be fair, I think it's quite a similar-ish, sort of similar size. I mean, I know my baby dragons piece is a lot smaller, but also it's on the 18 count. So I think my dragons piece is going to be about this size. So I think, yeah, comparatively they're a similar size. So it might be that I start focusing on that more once my dragons piece is done. Right, next up, this is Seashell Treasures. So this is a Dimensions Gold Petite. And I recently worked on this one last month, actually, in my WIP Parade. Again, this one was started in the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch back in April 2019. Whoops. Yeah, April 2019. So here's obviously a picture of where it was on my first WIP Parade, and here is it now. So yeah, so like I said, I'm almost at the halfway mark. And you can see that's the sort of fold in the fabric, that's the halfway mark there. So I mean, I have done a little bit of the background over, so comparatively I'm almost there. I think I've got a little bit to do down here, and then a little bit of back stitch up here, and then that's virtually this all done. It being a gold petite is a lot of work, a lot of confetti, lots of colour changes. One thing that I'm finding I struggle the most with this one is neither of those things. The bit I struggle with the most is the blank space. A lot of these shells, so like the inside of this one here, sort of down here, the inside of here, a lot of this conch here and around here, it's all blank space, so it's just letting the sort of beige Adas show through. But that means as I'm counting, as I'm trying to make sure that I've done everything, you know, I can't just sort of look at my fabric and see that I've filled in every square, because some of the squares are meant to be empty, and it's trying to work it out. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I said this in my last video. I do know that I could have just photocopied the chart and then highlighted it as I went. Did I do that? No, I've not done that. Will I do that next time that I go to stitch on it? Maybe. Depends what mood I'm in when I pick it up to stitch on, I suppose. As to whether I do that or whether I continue to complain about the chart for the entire rest of the stitching, I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned. Place your bets. do I, you know, photocopy it and work like a responsible person, or do I complain the rest of the time? Next up, right, this is the M.A.P Sal from Ink Circles. My t-shirt keeps winding up at the back. I should have tucked it into my pants, but I did not. Right. M.A.P, so the Mysterious Adventure project that Ink Circles did. And so it was a kind of a choose your own adventure. So there isn't really like a finished piece to show you, because it was kind of a how they designed it had sort of several you know, pages worth of different elements that you could add in, and you would sort of roll a dice to put them in, or pick your own shape of the island, you know, using the roll of a dice sort of thing, pick your own borders, things like that. But this is where it was when I started. I keep saying when I started, it's not when I started it, because obviously when I started it, it was a blank piece of fabric. What I mean is, this is where it was 5 years ago. I said, Coco, that is not food. Thank you. Right. Anyway, M.A.P Sal, here we go, Ink Circles. So I started this on the 16th of August 2019. Right, but here is we've got to. So my map is portrait orientation, and this piece in the middle is the land and water here and here. Yes, there's my border. My brain's gone. What's this called? It's not really a compass, is it? It's when it's on a map, it's called a windrows. I knew it would come to me. But yes, so it's my windrows. I decided to do mine with north pointing down because why not? Some elements on here, like the windrows, I've stitched over one, and some I've stitched over two, with basically my choice being the size and the scale that I wanted of the item and where I wanted to put it and how much stuff I wanted to put on here. There we go. So this is all pretty much finished. All pretty much finished at the bottom. I think I purposely sat over this side so that I could hold it up over there, and now I'm like, right. But yeah, so I still need to put like some like little waves, water things here, just to make it obvious that this is the wet, this is the dry. But yeah, so we get that. So this is on a piece of sort of 32 count bacon basted linen. I followed Vonna's Vonna Pfeiffer's tutorial for doing that, so using sort of tea and coffee and then baking it in the oven. But yeah, so there we go. So I think a few bits, you see, I think the lighthouse I've got sort of is over one, the ship is over one, and sort of a couple of little bits here, but then the majority of it is over two. The extra little island, these flags, she also had them sort of laid out so you could pick flags for your initials, and I believe I picked sort of my name, Z-O-E, for Zoe, and then the flags here for on the ship. Again, she had different flags for each number, and I picked the year that it was, so that was what I picked. So I think it was a 1 and a 9 for 2019. But yeah, so there we go. Still quite comparatively quite a lot to go on this one, but you know, still pottering along. And next up, this is my chessboard from Doodlecraft Designs. So this is their Coloris chessboard. So it's all pretty much black work, apart from the lines sort of in between the squares on the chessboard. They are 2 rows of cross stitch in between each row. But yeah, the rest of it is all black work. And I sort of started in the middle and worked my way out. So here was my first picture. And when did I start this? There we go. So that was the 8th of March 19. Yeah, so this was started on the 8th of March 2019. Oh, that's one of those. And here is where I've got to. So I'm not entirely sure which way up this goes, but I will put this bit at the top because that's where the bit I've done is. But yeah, so what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8-ish. 9, almost 9. Got a little bit more to do on that one. So 9 out of 32 squares done. And then the border. What's that, like an 1/8 of the way there? Maybe. I can't do that much maths in my head that fast. But yeah, so slow progress. It would be nice to sort of try and get this out and try and do, you know, maybe one sort of square a month or something, you know, just to try and get some progress on it. But you know, we'll see. I mean, if I did 1 square a month, I still need to do 23 squares, so that would be 2 years just to get the squares finished. I mean, if I kept to that and then spent another sort of 2 to 3 years then doing the border, that would be 5 years. So potentially I could have this done in 5 years time by my next one. we'll have to wait and see. I'm doing that on 18 count Ada, and I'm using DMC Coloris in colour, so 4515. Oh, got hair in my eye. Which is sort of this kind of browny bluey colour there. So next up is my glitter houses sale. So this was the Country Cottage Needleworks sale from well, I started it 1st of January 19. I assume it came out that year. But yes, I had all the little houses. But yes, all that sort of thing. All apart from the last house, which for whatever reason I can't find. So either didn't get it sent, or it didn't get sent, or I have since lost it. But yes, but we're still plodding along anyway, in the hopes that by the time I get to house number 9 I will have found it. But here's where I was back in 2020, and here is where I am now. I've finished the first 6 houses, and I just started on number 7 down here. But yeah, so just the bottom row to do. So like I said, I've got number 7 and 8, and number 9 I will have to work out when I get there, if I've still not found it, whether I just move that needle, repurchase it or manage to sort of borrow it from someone that has it. I don't know, but yeah, obviously I've still got 2 houses to go until then, so that will be a problem for, you know, future Zoe. But yeah, so that is being worked with the Classic Colourworks threads, all as called for, and the fabric was the sort of the opalescent sort of natural linen that was also called for in the chat. I got it as a sale from Patchwork Rabbit. Yeah, that is that one. And, oh, getting a bit squished down here. Right, then next up we have my Clouds Factory piece. So this is Humans After All, which was another sale of theirs. I started this one as well on the 1st of January 2019. So where are we? Again, I didn't keep up with this one either. But, oh, I am almost finished the top row, so it was three rows. So I think I've got just a little bit left to do, on that row, and then sort of pretty much halfway across the middle, and then I've still got the bottom row to do. So I'm probably, give or take, about halfway through this one. So this was on the called for sort of linen. I believe it's Ancient by Picture This Plus. It's a 32 count, and it sort of takes up the majority of a fat quarter there. But yes, yeah, give or take, I'm about halfway through this one. So it would be nice to get this one done, because I also have the Women in History one that was a similar design to this one. So you know, the three rows, but I don't want to start that one till I finish this one, so need to get a wiggle on. But yeah, not sure I'm going nuts. So this is using the called for DMC and the, well, it was new at the time, but it was the sort of sparkly DMC that came out. So the one that was kind of just had that one line of sparkle. What are they called? These ones. Have I got any to hand? These ones. Ah, the Etoile. So the C 820 this is. But yeah, that just had that kind of slight sparkle and fluff to it. So, oh, there's that one. Then next up we have the Winter Sampler. So this is a Kooler Design Studio piece. that I got as a Janlin kit, and I started this one as well on the 24 hours of cross stitch, which was the April 19. So this was my picture from where it was at the start of my first video, 20. Oh, let me show you the cover picture as well, that would probably be helpful. Some of you might have seen this recently because I worked on it last month. Yeah, so I was inspired by Brian from Blitz Stitch to do this. He did this one, and I believe he also then started the spring one, and I think Lindsi at Blushing Pink Stitches, I think she's doing them as well. But yeah, and here's where I am now. So not that much further. I'm pretty sure all I did was literally those snowflakes that I did last month. I think the rest of it was exactly as it had been back then. So I've not worked on this at all in about 5 years, which is quite sad. But I had come to the conclusion that I was only going to be doing the one. So rather than doing all 4 seasons, I was just going to do the Christmas one, or the wintry one. But you know, it would be nice to actually have it done. I did, when I last picked this up, move all of the threads over onto these floss cards, these plastic ones, because they were on the original floss cards they came with, which were sort of very, very flimsy, and kind of not very well organised. It was one of those kits that comes with the threads sort of unsorted, but they're in bundles. So you have like one bundle that's tied up with like a pink bit of thread, and then the chart will list the numbers in that bundle, but they're not in any particular order. So it just made it hard to then find what I needed. So if I looked on the chart and it said, oh, you need colour like 646, like, fair enough, I actually know what colour 646 is, but that's not the point. Like, you know, I then had to look through all 4 different floss cards to then see which one had the 646 on. So whereas what I've done on these 2 plastic ones is I've actually put them in numerical order, by their DMC number. So oh, and there's a couple of blends, so I've just put the symbol for the blend, and then put the 2 colours that you would blend together in that symbol. Oh, but because they're in number order now, it just makes it a lot easier to find what I need. But yeah, these are quite handy because all you do is they're blank. These are just little stickers, little round stickers that I've stuck on, and then they'll peel off, or I can just put another sticker over the top. Right. Next up is this is Mini Teatime by SodaStitch, and again this one I did work on last month. So here's where it started, 5 years ago. And when did I begin this one? I think I started this August 2019. If I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll amend it if I've worked out that I'm wrong before I edit this. But yeah, that's what I am now. So it's the whole first row done, apart from the other corner that goes over there, and the writing. So I'm not adding. So I need to add Teatime up there, but I'm not adding the little backstitch writing that's above a few of the designs. I think it said like coffee cup and cake and, you know, milk, that sort of thing, above each symbol. I'm not adding those in. I don't think it needed it. I think you can see that this is a piece of cake and this is a teacup. Oh, it said coffee cup, but like it's next to a teapot, so I would have called it a teacup anyway. But yeah, so I'm not adding those in. But I do need to add, there's a little banner here that says Teatime, and the opposite squiggle there. And that's the top row all done. And then I can start working on the middle. So it will be, there's 3 rows. Obviously, because you're looking at the finish on the screen, you can see exactly how big it's going to be. Oh, right. Let's tuck that back. Squish, squish, squish. Right. And next up is this one. This is Ship in a Bottle. This is Maria Diaz. No, not Maria Diaz. Maria Brovko. Is got quite a few of her designs. She's a lovely designer. She uses a lot of sort of half stitch and cross stitch, you know, tent stitch, sorry, and full cross stitch to give depth. So in a similar way to like the dimensions use the you know, the half and the full cross for dimension, she sort of does the same thing in her designs to give that depth there. But yeah, I really liked this one. And yeah, I do wish I'd done more of this because it is quite a pretty design. So I think the thing that was slowing me down was that I only have this as a paper copy. So I don't know if I can go back on, because I think I bought it from an Etsy store. So I don't know if I can go back on Etsy and like re-download the file, or if it's too late. So this one I started, where are we? The 12th of May 2019. But yeah, so I probably had the chart from at least before then. But yeah, so I don't know if I can go sort of download it, because this was before I sort of had sort of Pattern Keeper or any online software. So all of my charts, I basically printed them and then like deleted the PDF version because I didn't need it because I printed the chart out. But yeah, but that is all I've got for that. So just very bottom, I don't think I've actually worked on this at all since the previous picture, which is a shame. But yeah, it would be nice to have it done. She uses a lot of blends as well. Not a lot of blends, she uses some blends as well. So this is a 28, yeah, just a piece of 28 count even weave that I had in cream. But yeah, so but yeah, would like to get back to that one. I mean, I say that about a lot of them, and it's like I want to get them all finished, but I suppose in a way it is nice to know that I do still really like all of my pieces. It's just inconvenient because it means that I can't, you know, sort of get rid of any so that I would make progress faster. Like I have to make progress on everything because I want everything. But you know, we'll get there. What is up next? No, I've done that one. Oh, whoops. Oh gosh, everything's falling over. Right. Haha. This one's next. So this is Autumn Fox. No. Winter. No, maybe I should just take it out and look. Sunlit Fox. This is a Dimensions kit. I believe, is it Stitching Colours has done this one? I think, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. I remember it being on the wall behind her. But yeah, this is a Dimensions kit. It's on Black Ada. Again, I'm struggling with the Ada, so I might do sort of what I did with the white Ada that I was stitching my dragons piece on, or actually looking at how little progress I've made, I might actually just restart this on a different piece of fabric. I mean, you can see this is a very stiff, like, you know, I could stand it up. So yeah, very stiff piece of Ada. It's a 14 count piece, black Ada, and that's just up there. So just the top of his thigh. So this bit here. But yeah, given how much I've done, I could just completely restart this. But yeah, because it is a pretty design. Yeah, I might restart that on a different piece fabric. Something I do like the design, but actually I don't want to work on this Ada. It's hard work. It's very stiff. It's quite painful for me to work on. So yeah, I might swap this out for just a piece of black linen, blacky move, whether it's plain black or like an overdyed sort of dark piece. But yeah, I think I'm going to swap that out. I've only done a few hundred stitches, so not enough progress that I would be upset at losing the progress that I've made. Now I'll have to call for a restart. So I've got one of my whips off my hands for now, because it will no longer be a whip if it's a restart, it will be a new start. But yeah, next one is, oh, did I say when I started that one? Sunlit Fox. That was also started on the 24 hours of cross stitch, so 5th of April 19. Then this one is this is Awakening. This is a hedgehog. And I started this one, I think I started, yeah, at the same time. So again, on the 24 hours of cross stitch. And here's where it was at the my WIP Parade. Once I get into it, oh, what a mess. So I've been parking, so got the threads there. And so I'm using the kit fabric, which is the kind of speckled Ada from Bothy threads. And there's my start. So I've sort of done a 20 stitch gap down, and I'm just sort of working my way along. Oh, let's try and get that up. So I've sort of gone to the middle, which is about here, 20 stitches down, and I'm working towards the edge. And I've sort of just pretty much reached the edge here. And then I'm going to go that way on, and then I'll sort of do me up and down that way. But yeah, so quite liking that. I do have a few other Bothy threads kits sort of in the wings, waiting to be started once I finish these ones. Right, then next up is this is my Swan in the Moonlight piece. I don't have a finished picture of this because this was a piece I charted myself, and all I have remaining printed off is the chart. So you can sort of vaguely see here a bit. So we've got a tree over this side, and then here we've got a moon and a little swan down here in the lake. Now I've done probably about a quarter of it, so probably about that much there. Let's put a few in there. And this is on 18 count Ada with DMC threads, and his picture of when I had it in 2020. And I believe I started this, yeah, I don't have a specific date, so 2008 is the closest I have to a start date. And there it is. This is my oldest whip, and that's where we've got, so it says Moonlight Inspirations up there, and then there is just a little bit here of stitching, just the ever so tiny bit of like white, because I think for one of the stitchy challenges I had to stitch with white, so I did a bit of that, but that's all I've done, and that's about a quarter of it. And I think this is going to be it for this one. I was thinking last night, and I thought it is nice, and it is quite a pretty piece, but I don't think it's any longer a piece that I would want sort of finished and hung up. I'm not that bothered about it anymore. You know, there's pieces that I really love and I really want finished, and I want them hanging up and I want them on display. And this one, I'm like, nah. You know, like if something happened and like this fabric like got set fire to tomorrow and was completely destroyed, I'd just be like, oh well, you know, it's nice, but I think I'm more carrying on with it out of obligation to my younger self than out of really wanting to carry on with it. So yeah, so I think we're going to call it on this one. 2008 I started it, and what are we on now? 2025, so that's what, 16, 17 years. This piece is almost old enough to drive, so it's, yeah, I think we're going to call it there, which is a shame. It's a lot of work, but there's a lot more work that would need putting into it. I think I had suggested maybe just cutting it off here or a little bit further when we get onto the tree and just having the swan, but like, I'm not that fussed about having it finished. So, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this one. I mean, if anyone wants it, I have the chart and I have all the floss. If you wanted to carry on, send me an email and I'll pass it up and send it over. If anyone else wanted to carry on with it, but yeah, for me this is just going to go into the sort of UFO pile for now. But yeah, I think that's going to be enough for that one. Right, and next up is so I've got my 3 full coverages now that I'm working on. I'll just stop for some eye drops. Right, so this is stuck to the. Wait, why are they in here? Right, that's the white that goes in my Animal Kingdom, not the white that goes in my dragons. Okie dokie. No, that is a piece of chart. Where's the finished picture? I didn't put it away. That would be where the finished picture is. So this is a design by who is it? Misty Whitka, and the chart is the design is charted by Shinysuns Designs. They only do paper copies of this chart, so I have attempted to put it into markup. Markup does not get on very well with this chart, so it is still quite hard work. About 10% of the symbols are either being picked up incorrectly or not being picked up at all, which does just make it a little bit slower when working on it. Still faster than having it on a piece of paper, but you know. So this is on 18 count. It's probably nearer to a 20 count now, after I kind of assassinated it with boiling water. But here we go. So here's a picture of where it was back in 2020. I started this on the 11th of May 2018. So, and here it is. So I'm working in my, this one's in 10 stitch diagonals, just because of the difficulty with the charting software. But yeah, and so that's a needle minder, but I've just done a bulk of the black stitching down here and there, just because I needed to meet my stitch count goal. But yeah, but apart from that, it is in the 10 stitch blocks. But yeah, so we've got that first baby dragon there, and how far down are we? So we're probably just about that mark there. So we're over halfway down on this side, and I believe this is about the halfway mark across. So we're, you know, over an eighth. I don't have my other phone here that has my charting software, my markup and everything on, so I will add my percentage and that for these ones in there, because I do have the percentage that I'm at now. But yeah, so that is that one. And then my other two starts from back then, from 2020, that are still WIPs, are my two big heids. So due to the size of the frames that they are on, I can't actually hold those up to the camera, so I'm going to insert photos and just sort of talk while you're looking. But anyway, so the first one we'll do is the Bathtime. So this is a design by Selena Fenech, and it was charted by Head, Heaven and Earth Designs. I started this one in 2018. I actually started it sooner than I thought. So yeah, April 2018. And it's 400 stitches by 565. So it's about double the size of the Three Baby Dragons piece. But about a quarter of the size of my Animal Kingdom piece. I'm not sure where I was in 2020. I don't know if I've got the figures anywhere. I might have to rewatch my WIP Parade video and see if I can just bring up my percentage figures for this one, or for these two, as to where I was. But where I am now is at 56.59%, and I've done 127,904 stitches so far. And I don't believe this one's been called for May, so yeah, so no progress this month for this. But yeah, in terms of the whole design, that's where I am so far on it. So yeah, more than halfway, which is good. I was hoping to have this one done in 5 years from start, but that would have been 2023, 24. And yeah, I'm only about halfway. So I would definitely like this one done within the next 5 years, and sort of off and, you know, framed hopefully by my 10-year one. So that is definitely a plan, and I'm sort of, I think what I'd planned in, so I planned it in for my WIP Go, and I had planned enough stitches this year I think to get me to about the 65% mark. So I think that worked out to about 15% I would get done this year, and then I think that gives me about 15 the next year and 15 the year after should be about right. So, you know, hopefully 2 to 3 more years after this, so it should be done by my 10-year anniversary. So, but we'll keep our fingers crossed at that one. And then my other full coverage, and when did I start that one? I started it in December, because I actually embroidered the date on. I believe I started that December 19. Where am I? Yes. But yes, and can I get the camera to turn, the screen to turn round so that's a bit more visible? And there we are. So this is a total of 133,932 as of today. So right now I'm at 17.52%. So it's that about an eighth of the way. Not that much more stitches than what I've put into Bathtime, so I've put about the same amount of stitches into both of them. But obviously Bathtime is a quarter of the size of this. So this is the Supersize Max Colour version, Amy Stewart's design, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is 999 stitches across by 765, I believe. Let me just zoom in onto my chart. Yeah, 765 down. And that's where I am so far. So getting on quite well. So I'm over halfway up the side, and I think I'm halfway at the bottom. Yes, I'm over halfway across the bottom by 5 stitches. So I'm just over the halfway mark, sort of horizontally, and I'm sort of quite a bit over the halfway mark vertically. But yeah, so there we go. So that is all of my WIPs that were WIPs on my 2020 video that are still WIPs right now. So I'm going to pop all these back in the bag and then show you some of the finishes that I've had from that video. Now my first one, I'm going to pop in a picture because I can't actually remember where I've put it. I've popped it away somewhere ready to sort of be washed and blocked, but I can't remember offhand where I put that. I think it's in the box of my knitting stuff, but I can't get to that because my mum's got all the stuff out at the minute. So pictures. This is ink circles. This is my Castle Walls piece, and this was my New Year New Start for 2020. So started this on the 1st of January 2020, and I finished it just the tail end of last year. I didn't actually write down the date here that I finished it. Hopefully it'll be in my other log so I can get it there. But yes, this took me the best part of 5 years to do. No, 4 years. Yeah, 5 years. I can count. So the best part of 5 years to do this one. I was hoping to have it done in 1 year, obviously not. But yeah, so this is on a 36 count fabric flare from Sew It All, and it was cloud grey was the background, so it was an even weave, and I did it 1 strand over 2 with some Silks for You silks. The silks were PR 069 for the navy and PR 147 for the cerulean blue. I really loved working with those silks future, but I do really love these 2 colours together. And so we're going to go down this pile as it comes. So this is a frosted pumpkin stitchery. This is Into the Jungle. This was a sal of theirs. I started in 2018 and I actually finished it in May 2020. So I finished this not long after my WIP Parade. I believe I think I was very close when I was last on it, so here's obviously where it was back then. And I think all I had was the bottom border to do. So yeah, so that was quite a quick finish from there. I did make a couple of changes to the title of this. So I think it just had Into the sort of Jungle, and I just didn't like the way that sounded, so I recharted it to Welcome to the Jungle. So moved the down to the bottom and resized sort of this piece to fit. And then I kind of used some of the letters and the shape of some of the letters to chart myself a welcome, and then used the sort of leaves that were already in the border and just kind of put the big ones in where they would fit, and then filled the gaps with some littler leaves. And yeah, this is using the called for fabric and the called for threads, including there was a specialty thread for the sort of the green of these leaves. You can see it's slightly variegated, but I believe all of the rest of it was DMC. And I got this as a complete kit from Frosted Pumpkin to start when they did that. So there we go. So we've got, they may or may not have had fancy names, but we've basically got parrots, tiger, we've got monkey there, toucans, sloth, tree frog, oh gosh, I can't remember what that one is. No, can't remember what that's called. Crocodile, alligator, chameleon, bats, cockatiels, and a cheetah. Or is it jaguar? No, it's a cheetah or a leopard is the other one with spots. But yes, so that's my Welcome to the Jungle, and I am, so I believe this is a 32. Looks 32-ish. Actually no, it could be a 28. But yeah, I think it's a 28 that's kind of maybe shrunk a little bit, so it's maybe a bit more like a 30. But either way, it was the called for. So that was that one. Right, so next we've got this piece, which is designed by Ksenia Glushkova, who is cross stitched by KSU on Instagram. And I actually did this as a sort of a model stitch, a test. Well, it wasn't a model stitch because I kept the model. It was a test stitch because I stitched it and then sent her the pictures. But yeah, so here's where it was when I started it, which was 8th of February 2020. And then I actually finished it a couple of months later, since it was a test piece. But here it is, and then I finished it into a cushion cover. So this is just sort of normal just buttons at the top, nothing too fancy, and sort of mitered corners on the front there. But yeah, so this is stitched on a piece of 28 count kind of pinky brown even weave, using all the called for sort of DMCs, and yeah, and I just love her designs. I wish I had more. I need to get some more from her because they're all stunning. The way she uses her back stitch, like the different number of strands and different lines, sort of just to add the dimension there. But yeah, so this is the little sort of foal in the foliage. But yeah, so like I say, this is a cross stitch cover, but it hangs in my wardrobe because not only do I not have a cushion for it, I also don't really want to have it out where people will touch it. Also, so this is before I sort of knew about sort of couching or anything. So some of these lines are quite, the back stitch lines are sort of quite long, and I haven't got them couched down with anything. So they're going to be quite easy to catch if this is just, you know, a cushion somewhere, especially with the cats rubbing on things. So at the minute it does just live in the wardrobe, but you know, one day I'll have it brought out. But yeah, so my next one is do I have this one here? I don't think I have the start date for this one. No, so I believe I started this in, I think I started this in sort of March, April 2020. It was I believe during the first lockdown, and this is a piece by I think this was a free sale that she put out. Obviously there's a picture of it started, and this was all finished, and I just finished it into a hoop and used some of the red thread to sort of make a little twist all the way around. So this was stitched using the black DMC and then these kind of variegated red they have. I can't remember what numbers the variegated ones are. Someone says 120, but I don't think that's a valid number. So, but yeah, just a variegated red in there. So we've got, who have we got? Because I did have them all written down. So there were animals from sort of all across the world. So we had the North America, the moose, and then going clockwise, we've got the Iberian lynx, the toucan, the koala bear, so from Iberian Peninsula, sorry, the toucan from South America, the koala from Australia, the ibex from Italy, the Bengal tiger from India, the elephant from Africa, the African elephant, a coyote from North America, a cockatiel from Australia, panda from China, a llama from South America, and a lion from Africa. But yeah, so that was that piece. And then this was one of my bookmarks. This is the only one I've fully finished. So this is a Michael Powell kit, and this is the Greek bookmark. So I believe he's got a set of 4 of these. I do have 3 of them. One of them I have finished the stitching, but it needs just fully finishing into the bookmark, and then the last one I can get around to starting. But this is the Greek bookmark. So that's where it is now. So it's all finished. So all I had to do was the bit at the bottom and then the back stitch. Then that was all finished, and I believe that one, where are we? I've got the dates down here. So I started this one in April of 19, so again on the 5th of April, the 24 hours of cross stitch, and then I finished it in May of 2020, so about a year later finally got around to finishing it, and then I sort of fully finished it quite quick after. So it's got like the felt back that comes in these kits and the little tassel on there just sewn together. But yeah, so that's that one finished. Then I've put these all on my clipboard. So then we have, this is the Fox and Rabbit sal from back when it was Linen and Threads. Is Linen and Threads Fox and Rabbit? Or did I just make that up? I'm pretty sure it's the same. Well, if I've messed that up, I'll have to edit it out, but I'm sure that's right. So again, I started this on the 24 hours of cross stitch, so April 2019, and then this was fully finished May 2020, so again not long after my final video. I believe all I had left to do after I'd done my WIP Parade was finish this border piece. The only thing I didn't do with this was put in the final border, which was just supposed to be another line like this all the way around the edge. I didn't think it needed another sort of straight line on it. I quite liked it just as it was. So this is on a piece of cloud blue. Have I got the... No, it's... Oh no, this is also cloud grey. Okay, 36 count. So this will be the other half of the fabric that I did the ink circles piece on. So, but yeah, and then the threads I used were the pearl cotton set from Zoe at Paintbox Threads. This was her Peacock Tails preset. So she sells all the colours individually, but she does piece together some sort of colour packs. And yeah, I saw this one and it was called Peacock Tail, and I thought that's perfect for this style. So yeah, so I picked it up. And then I just used the silver DMC metallic for the 4 little medallions here and the crown on the peacock. But yeah, and that was that one. So then next we have Believes. This was a Dimensions. Also started in April 19 and finished in May 20. I believe this didn't have much left to finish when I did my original WIP Parade, so it was kind of a priority just to get it done and out of the way, with the look to actually having it fully finished for that Christmas. No, I did not. That is still, it's still sat here waiting to have something done with it. But it is finished, so it's just Believe, regular Dimensions kit. I don't know if it was a gold or just a petite. This bit was all back, this bit's all French knots, but apart from that it's just the regular sort of cross stitch and half and 10 stitch. But yeah, so that's as the Dimensions kit called for, so on the 14 count sort of beige Ada. Then next up we have my unicorn. This started in 2016. This was quite an old piece. Originally it was sort of portrait, so it did have about another, I think 20 stitches to go at the bottom, but it was just more of this background, so I just cropped it off square. But yeah, it originally was a free design, however that site has now gone completely, and I wouldn't know where to find it now. But yeah, so just unicorns. This was using 2 strands of DMC, so it was my first full coverage that I did like this. So 2 strands of DMC over 1 on a 22 count hard hanger. So yeah, it was very tight. You can sort of even see in the corners of the, I don't know if you can tell, the corners of the fabric have actually warped, because there's so much stitching that the actual surrounding fabric is all stretched out of shape. But I think by the time I realised that you didn't have to stitch with 2 strands of DMC, I'd already got quite far in and was like, you know what, I'm just going to carry on, it's fine. Did I say when I started in 16? I didn't say when I finished that one, so I don't have that written down, but I'm not sure. Then I had this, which is a caterpillar cross stitch. This is the Winter Dove, so I picked this up at one of their stitchings. So I went along and had a stitching day, and you got to pick one of 2 charts, and this is one that I picked. And is it written in here? There we go. No, I haven't written down the date, but I believe it was March 20. So it was sort of just before I started doing my Flosstube. So I just started that, and I believe all I'd had started was kind of this grey blob in the middle. But yeah, got that one all finished. So I need to look at finishing this into maybe a hoop or sort of ornament for Christmas. But this is just on a piece of 28 count sort of linen. It's quite gappy. You can sort of see straight through it to, you know, size. It's quite a loose weave linen, so obviously depending how I want to finish it, if I'm going to sort of stuff it with anything, I'm going to have to make sure I use sort of a heavy duty interfacing just to make sure nothing actually starts poking through those holes. Then the last piece I've got here to show is another Maria Brovko piece. It is called Talk Amongst Yourselves. I don't have it written here, so I must have started it after 2019. Haha. Yeah, I haven't got it written on here. Well, I didn't do too bad. I think this is the only one that I didn't have written down on this list, so I must have started it late on in 2019, early 2020. But yeah, finally got it finished. So a couple of changes I made. Well, I think only one change really that I made. This was supposed to be a fox, so it had a nose pointing up, and I just sort of chopped the nose off to make it look more like a cat. And then I think I messed up a little bit on the moon. I think the moon ended up not quite circular because I ended up sort of going one too high on this side, so it kind of shifted the whole moon kind of up and to the right a bit. So I then had to kind of come around and try and fill in and make it look a bit more round again. So you can sort of see I've got like a diagonal line there and there where my moon ended up too high. But by the time I'd noticed, I wasn't going to go back and pull everything out. And then the sort of stars around the edge, so the most of them are just crosses. Some of them are sort of backstitch, have little backstitch lines as well. They were just kind of put in, give or take, you know, where they were supposed to go. I think the big ones I made sure to get in the right place, the ones with tails, and then the little bits I kind of just squished in where they wanted to go. You know, I knew I needed 5 in that gap, so I made 5 fit. But yeah, and this is on a piece of Haunted linen by Picture This Plus, 36 count. But yes, I think that is everything. So that's everything on my list. That's everything I had pictures for. I did have a couple of other WIPs that were WIPs back then. However, I since had already decided to put them into a UFO pile or give them away to other people to finish. So apart from that, that's all my WIPs. So I'll go hand off back to future Zoe with the next part of the video. But yes, so thank you for watching that part, and I will see you in a minute. Bye. Hello and welcome back. So hopefully you're still watching. You're not tired of me yet. I do appreciate if some of you want to watch this in segments and just like stop here, go off and, you know, do life and then come back later. Because I know sometimes you don't have time to sit down and watch like an hour, a 2 hour video, like all in one like sitting sort of thing. So but yes, Coco's still here, still behaving, just about. But yes, so on to some giveaways. So I thought about sort of what I wanted to do, and I know last time I did some giveaways, it was quite a while ago, and it was sort of trying to remember how, you know, the rules and the regulations and trying to, so I had to sort of go back and look and check a few things. What I've decided to do is I've got 5 giveaways for my 5-year anniversary. Now, in terms of sort of shipping, I should be able to post pretty much anywhere. I will be posting via Royal Mail. Should be able to ship pretty much anywhere in the world, fingers crossed. Please be over 18 if you're commenting, or have, you know, an adult comment on you, because that you have to be able to give me your address and you have to be over 18 to be able to do that. Please don't use any words like sort of giveaway, freebie, gift, those sort of things, because obviously I just want it to be people that watch. In terms of that, please also be a subscriber. That would be nice, thank you. I know I don't think I ever really say it on my videos about, you know, please like and subscribe and do those things, because that's not necessarily what I'm here for. Like, seeing the numbers go up is really nice, but I'm not going to stop doing videos because the numbers stop going up, if that makes sense. But yes, if you can be a subscriber for the giveaway, just so I know you're watching, and you haven't, like, you're not a bot that has appeared out of nowhere sort of thing. In terms of sort of when I actually draw the giveaway, so I'm going to give, I want to give a clean month for this because I know it's a long video and no one to watch. So I will be closing this closing the giveaway draw on, it'll be the last day of June. So that'll give you the rest of May, because we're only in the second week of May, and then a whole month of June. So it'll give about 6 weeks for this. Is June 30? Yeah, so the 30th of June, so sort of midnight that night, and then I'll draw it the rest of the next day. If you've won, I will be doing a separate video. It will just be a little short video, you know, 3 minutes maybe, of me saying these are the people that have won, sort of doing the draw, and then I will add my email address in the comment in the description below and ask you to email me, or you can contact me on my Instagram and DM me there with your contact details. And then I'll also ask you then to come back onto that video and comment to say that you have contacted me. 2 reasons that I do that. One is so that I know to go and look for your email. Like, if it's gone in my junk, I know I need to find it. But also then I know it is you that's emailed me, because obviously your handle on YouTube is probably not the same as your email address. So it allows me just to match it up and make sure, you know, some random person hasn't emailed me being like, I'm the winner, and it's not actually them. So it allows me to sort of match up a bit better. Just in case, that hasn't happened before, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So it just allows me to match it up and make sure everyone's okay. I think that's all the boring stuff. I think that's all the rules. I struggle sometimes with the zoom on this and the focus. So I actually took a separate video of some of these to give away. So I will insert the video just so that it's not all blurry. I've got all of my notes written down so I can tell you exactly what we're going to do. And I can't remember if I've said this bit already. If I have, I'll crop this bit out because I'm repeating myself. But in terms of choosing what I wanted to give away, I wanted to give away sort of some of my favourite things. Obviously not in terms of like things that I actually own that are my favourites, but things from my sort of favourite companies, my sort of, or my favourite designers, things like that. So things that you know, that I think are sort of special to me, sort of thing. I hope that they're also, you know, you like the things as well. That's the point, because you're going to be getting them. But yeah, so these were sort of my favourite things, and I basically sort of tried to narrow it down to just 5 because I wanted my 5-year anniversary. And we've got a little variety. We've got well, you'll see in about a minute, but we've got some fabrics and threads and charts. First things first, so I'm just going to go down my list, so in no particular order. We'll do the pre-recordings first. This is a Mirabilia. Now this one is Queen Mariposa. This is, so the code is MD133 and it was released in 2014. But yeah, and this one, I like this one because it's got all the butterflies. I do like the butterflies, so the butterflies are sort of all around the border. But yeah, I liked this one because it had sort of background on it, so that's why I picked this one. And I did bring up like the little spiel because I know it's sort of, I've flicked it on the back, but sometimes I do like reading the information that's sent with the chart, because I think that sometimes makes the chart. I do like this bit. By day she tends to the grapevines in an old Spanish vineyard, but by night she becomes Queen Mariposa, ruler of flora and fauna, creator of the most delicious wine ever tasted. True monarchs know the value of hard work, so the young woman begins her journey to the throne by spending her days in drab attire under the hot sun, pruning and shaping the overgrown vines at an abandoned graveyard. But by the light of the moon, she glimpses the future when her arduous task is complete. Standing on the edge of the stone patio, she holds a sceptre, her jewelled crown studded with diamonds and pearls, a cherry red overskirt enveloping her blue-grey ball gown. Knowing that all living creatures enhance the growth of the grapes, she summons butterflies and moths to assist with pollination. Just as the enchanted arbour is her chrysalis, changing her from young woman to queen. The vineyard also transforms, blossoming under her skilled hands. That's Susan Reddington Bobby, that wrote that. But yes, very pretty, very big dress. I do love the big dresses of the Mirabilias. If you saw, well, I think I've also got it in my WIP Parade. So if you watched my WIP Parade 10 minutes ago, I showed off my Veronica, portrait of Veronica piece, and the giant ball gown is why I fell in love with her as well. So that's the piece I love out of my mirrors. But yeah, so for this one, I'm going to write down actually, because you all know I can't remember anything. And that's, if you would like to win this one, you can use the word queen in your comment. Just queen. There we go. So next, we've got another chart. So this is one of Debbie's charts. And Debbie is Doodlecraft Designs. And I met her at the Knitting and Stitching show. So she's from Scotland, she's Scottish, and she does gorgeous sort of blackwork designs. Now I know there's, my brain's just gone, there's quite a few other designers that do, I know there's a few that are like stitch alongs, you know, you get a little piece of, like a little blackwork, like flower or something for every day of the year or whatever. And can I remember what that designer is? No, if I remember between now and editing, I will add it in here. But no, but I have got, the only reason I'm saying it is because I also have one of their designs to do as well. But yeah, I love the sort of freedom of blackwork. So it's not the crosses, there's, you know, it's something different. And blackwork is basically backstitch, but I find sometimes backstitch, when you finish a cross stitch design, the backstitch is like it can be quite boring and tedious. Whereas when you're doing blackwork, it's basically all backstitch, and it doesn't feel that, and it just feels you're just basically drawing with the thread sort of thing, and you kind of progress through it a bit quicker, and you can see the flowers coming on the designs and that, which I do really like, and I like the geometricness of them. So I also have a couple of Debbie's other chessboards. So the Coloris one, which is sort of got quite a florally border and the different squares. And then this was her newest release. So this is the Gothic chessboard, which has the skulls, and it has roses and swords and thorns, and then as well as the decorative sort of squares inside. But yeah, so this it is charted with sort of light colours to then be done on black. So I think actually on the cover it does say the black version, because it's to be done on black Ada. But you can just swap to a lighter fabric and then use a darker thread. So swap the white thread to black thread and stitch it on a light fabric, and then the red and the green in the border would stay red and green, you know, and do that as well. But yes, so this is one of Debbie's chessboards, and the word we use for that is, we'll go with chess. Now we'll go on to threads. Now, thread doesn't need to be focused much, so I just have the thread here with me. So these are Silks for You silks, and it's a full hank of silk, so it's enough for, to be fair, pretty much any design I think you would use. So I used silks on my recent finish that I had last year, so my Castle Walls, my Ink Circles piece. I used 2 of her silks, and I'm also using her sort of undyed white silk on the Pandemic, so white, and I love the feel of the silks, sort of the way it moves through your fingers, but also the sound it makes when it's coming through the fabric. It's just so smooth, and it's a bit more of a higher pitch than like the cotton DMC when it comes through the fabric. If that makes sense to anyone else, I'm not sure. But yeah, I love the way it feels through my hands, and just against my skin, and it smooth through the needle, and they're really lovely to work with. And the Silks for You colours, the way she puts some of the colours together are amazing. I'm actually going to have two options for this, just in case. But the one I had for the giveaway is PR180, which is this Kingfisher colour. And I do love this one. So bright Kingfisher. Now I did try and match up to a couple of DMCs, just because I know colour on the screen can be bad. And I have got a couple of DMCs here just in case. But But yeah, so we've got numbers 598, it's sort of one of these blues, and 3849. But these sort of teal blues are a bit brighter than those DMC numbers. And then the oranges, we've got 922 and 3771. But again, they're a bit brighter than those colours, but the DMCs just weren't bright enough for what I wanted. So they didn't quite match, but you know, you get a rough gist of the colours. But yeah, very kingfishery. So this is a full sort of hank. I will sort of undo it there. So it's 100 metres. But yeah, and I do love these hanks. Just reference how I tend to cut them to use is I will pick an area where the colour, so I've got like quite a chunk of colour that's the same there, or this orange, and then I will cut in the middle of that, and then that'll be my length. So it's quite a long length for me. So if you wanted shorter length, you could cut in the middle of the orange there, and then you would have sort of just, what's that, sort of a 3 foot length. But then it means no matter which end you're picking from to stitch with, you're always going to end with that orange and then start with that orange. So you never have to worry about how you're ending the threads to match the colours up, because you'll always end and start in the same place. So that is my trick for the silks. But yes, so, and there we go, back hanged up there. Now that is that one. However, if you don't like this colour but you still want to go for one of the silks, what I will do is, so this was my, I do actually have this finished so I can show you it. So these are the colours that I used for my Castle Walls piece, so this one. Now I've already used sort of a chunk of the colours, but we had 069, which was this sort of navy blue, and 147, which is this lovely sort of bright, but it's a bit lighter than it's showing up on my camera. I will measure off, so because I know I've used a bit more of one of these, but I will make sure you're getting sort of 50 metres of each of these, which will make up a 100 metre hank. So if you want sort of the same amount, but it'll be of those two colours, half and half, instead of one of those, I will swap, if you know, whichever one you want. You can let me know. But yes, so for that one we'll just use the word silk, and then obviously if you win you can then let me know which colour you wanted. But yes, silk. Right, and then next up, so we've got a piece of fabric. Now this is a piece of 40 count linen from Under the Sea Fabrics, and it's called Heaven's Fury, and I love the colours of this. It's a little bit like a terracotta stonework, or like a hot stone, you know, just sort of normal stones, but with the heat there from the oranges. I do have a list of the numbers here. I will add them up here. So I got out my DMC chart and I sort of opened it up and I got the fabric, and I was sort of matching the fabric up on all the colours to try and find some. But yeah, so again, so the colours this matched up to close enough. Obviously they're never going to be exact because the dyes that DMC use are not the dyes that anyone, you know. But anyway, so we've got 02, 224, 452, 647, 951 and 3779. So they're all colours that are in this fabric, but it's all mottled all the way across. So it is a fat quarter, like I said, 40 count. So 40 count is one of my favourite counts, because you can use just one strand of, well, anything DMC or silk over the two, and that's plenty, and it lies lovely and flat. The stitches aren't too crowded, but they're sort of close enough together that you can't see too much fabric through. So yeah, 40 is one of my favourites. A lot of my new pieces that don't need to be a specific size, I am moving on to sort of 40 count for. I'm sort of expanding my collection from upstairs of 40 counts. We're not going to talk about that today though. This is not for confessions. But yes, so I love this piece. So this would work well for any sort of monochromatic piece. If you were just using a black sort of on it, would stand out lovely. So thinking of some of the sort of witch pieces. Oh gosh, no, oh, I'm not going to remember this, am I? No, I'm going to have to add in, because I can't remember it at all. See, this is the reason I add them into like folders in my Google Drive, is so that I then don't have to remember what the designer is, because it's all written down. But yeah, so these sort of monochromatic pieces look nice on there, or even some black work pieces would look good, or anything that's sort of wants that sort of terracotta-y stone background. So sort of, you know, sort of thinking like Spanish or sort of Italian, anything like that would look lovely on these pieces. But yes, so that is fabric, and for that one, so we use Fury for that one, because that is the colour of the fabric, Heaven's Fury. Let's circle that. And then finally my my fifth piece for my giveaway is from the lovely Megan at Coffee Crafts Fabric. So this will be a voucher for her shop. So it's going to be a £30 voucher to sort of spend on her online store. Now that will cover a piece of fabric, so but depending on which piece of fabric. So some of the Adas are a little bit cheaper, some of the opalescents are a little bit more expensive, but it will cover at least one piece of fabric, and then maybe a chart or something else from her site if you want to add something else on. So I haven't picked any of the colours for you, so you can go on her site and pick any of the pieces on there, whatever your preferred count would be. Opalescent, linen, even weaves, Adas. She has counts sort of from I believe, you know, right from the 14 count Ada up to 56, 52, 56 count sort of linens. Most of her fabrics come in pretty much all of those. But yeah, so I have quite a stash of Megan fabrics. I'm pretty sure if you've seen any of my videos as I'm going through, and I'm like, oh, this is a, you know, a piece of Megan's. Oh, this is a piece of Megan's. Oh, this is also a piece of Megan's fabric. So I do love her fabrics. I love them. They're soft. They're easy to work with, and the colours are very vibrant. So sort of even I do tend to buy the linens, which do take the colours up a bit better than the even weaves. But some of the even weaves I have are also sort of really good on the colours. But yeah, so Megan doesn't name any of her colours. So the majority of her sort of colour dyes, even though sometimes she will do sort of very similar sort of themes, each batch will be slightly different. But yeah, and some of my favourites from hers, I will see if I can get a couple of pictures to pop in. But she's recently done kind of they're not named, but they're sort of like a muffin collection is how I call them. So we've got like the blueberry muffin, there's raspberry muffin, I think there was another one sort of more like a sort of a blackcurrant muffin as well, like a sort of pinky one. But yeah, I do love these colourways. Have I decided what to stitch on them? No, but I have them in my collection, just ready for when I find something to go on them. To sort of celebrate my 5th anniversary, the lovely Megan has gifted that voucher to me to give to you. So thank you ever so much again, Megan, for that. But yes, if you would like that voucher, then the word to use for that, we're going to go with coffee, because she's Coffee and Crafts Fabric. They are my 5 favourites giveaways for my 5-year anniversary. Like I said, so the closing date will be the end of June, so the 30th of June. So you've got till then to pop. Now you can enter any of the draws. If you want to put in for all 5, that's fine, to pop the words. I will draw them in the same order that I've said them out here. Obviously, if you win for one, then I won't enter you for another draw, just so I can get sort of five people winning. So I'll use the YouTube comment picker that's online. So when I do that, like I said, it will just be a short video with the winners on there. That is my giveaways. So thank you very much. Lastly, we've just got some plans. So for my next sort of 5 years. Now I know as I was doing my WIP Parade, I was sort of saying specifically, you know, individually which ones I did want finished, or which ones I wanted to focus on first, sort of things. But I think my goal would be, you know, I do want to get sort of as many of these ones finished as I can in the next 5 years. I know some of them are quite small. Thinking the map, so the Maps of Mythology by Maria Diaz was, I mean, yes, it was on over 132 count, but I mean, even, you know, just the number of stitches it needed, there was quite a lot of empty space, so it didn't have that much stitching involved, even though I've not actually got that much of it done yet so far. But I thought that shouldn't take too long. Shouldn't being the optimal word. My Teatime, my SodaStitch, that is also, you know, quite a acceptable small size piece. My Dimensions, my Seashell Treasures, that I'm almost halfway. I mean, it's a lot of work still to do because the Dimensions petites do have lots of not just colour changes, but lots of sort of thread count changes. You know, from like your 1, 2, 3 strands, half cross, full cross. So that is does take a little bit more brain power, but I would like, you know, those ones are quite small. I would like them finished by my 10-year checkup. Some of my larger pieces, so my full coverage ones that I've got. So the Michael Powell, so the Place du Marche, that's quite a big piece. Big Hade, so my Animal Kingdom piece. That's again quite big. I know I'm not going to get the Animal Kingdom piece. The Bathtime piece that I've got, hopefully, you know, I would like that one finished. My 3 baby dragons, I would also like that one finished. So I think out of my big full coverages, those two I would have done. The Michael Powell and the Animal Kingdom, I would be happy. I'd be happy if they were, but I wouldn't be upset if I still had them at my 10-year recap. What else did we have? I think I would like my Veronica piece, my portrait of Veronica, so my Marie Curie piece. That piece I would like done. So I think I'm going to sort of try and focus on that. Maybe next year that's going to be one of my focus whips. So this year I've got my sort of my Christmas, which was my New Year, New Start, and my greenhouse. So they were sort of my focus alongside my full coverage. I think next year I'm going to have Veronica will be one of my focus pieces each month. But yeah, so I want to see how many I can get ticked off. That'll be my goal, sort of try and tick off as many as I can by then. And I think how many was that? I didn't count how many there were, and I didn't write them down either because I just think that loud. I have the list on my phone, which I happen to be recording on, so that is absolutely no use right now. But I think, what should we go with? So I can't really remember how many there was. There must have been at least 20. There must have been at least 20 something, I think. I don't know. Let's not embarrass myself by trying to guess how many there was. But let's say all but 7. I think I would like to have all but 7 finished, I think. So 2 of those being my Michael Powell and my Big Animal Kingdom piece. And then if I've still got 5 more that are still on my whip list by my 10-year video, I think I would be happy. So yeah, so all but 7 I think is what I'm going to go for. Obviously you guys have just watched my WIP Parade, so you know how realistic that'll be. You might be sat there thinking, there's no way she'll get all of those finished. But obviously when I come to edit, I will see for myself just how ridiculous that may or may not be sounding. It might sound perfectly doable. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think I would like them finished. I would like them out of my WIP bags. I would like them where I can see them. You know, not sort of, whether they're finished or whether they're just in a pile, but somewhere where I can look at them and they're out, and you know, then it also means I can then work on the other things that I've got. You know, I have so many kits or sort of charts that I want to get to, but I'm sort of putting off starting them because I don't want to get carried away and have too many whips, because I think the more whips I end up having, the less likely I am to actually finish any of the ones I've got. I already know that there's, I think when I did my original WIP Parade at the start of the year, there was some that I looked through and I was like, I've not touched this one this year. I've not had this one at all. No, nor this one, or this one. And there was so many that I hadn't even touched for a whole year. And that was with me only having like 40 odd WIPs. So if I add any more to that, I'm not going to get any of them done, and I want them done. I want them finished. Yeah, so that's going to be a goal, is to try and get them finished, get them moved out of their bags, and either into some smalls or into some frames or just into a drawer. Hopefully they'll be framed, but you know, I don't have an infinite amount of wall space, so I do know that there's no way I could frame everything that I have on my WIPs, because that would be a whole house full. And this isn't just my house, there are other people that live here and they have their things on the wall too, so I can't steal all of the wall space, no matter how much I try. But yes, but yeah, I think that's everything. I hope that's everything. Hopefully your drink stayed warm. Mine is cold now, so cold tea it is. But there we go. Yes, I've got cocoa back. So, and I've got fur up my nose to pay for it. So, but yes, so thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. And for me and Coco, well, maybe more from me and not Coco. Coco doesn't look too happy. You just put a little head up there. There we go. You look at the camera. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support over the last 5 years, and hopefully I will still see some of you in the next 5 years. So but yeah, so I love you lots, and I will see you all soon. So obviously, anyway, so I do I'm just